The most interesting place I ever been was Israel and Jerusalem. We all read about it, they teach us about it at school, but to be there, feel the energy of the town, fantastic. So there are so many places, yeah. But that's 3 of my favorite, yeah.
Stage, center left.
It's me again. I've been on multiple cruises with friends, family. One cruise that we were on, we have 15-foot swells and we're locked into the interior part of the ship. How does your crew manage the ship going through that kind of water? Because it hit our side of the ship so hard that woke us up and tried to get outside, and they told us what happened. How do you manage rough seas and things like that?
Some of the crew feels the same way as you because they are not that used to it. Like I said, with my background, I was used to sitting in that kind of weather all the time, in the winter time in the North Sea. But no, the reason you don't let, if you get really heavy seas and the ships start moving a lot, the reason you want to have people into certain areas is because a lot of things can move. If you go to a cargo ship or a Coast Guard ship I was on, everything was nailed to the floor. Your chair, your tables, everything was nailed down so it couldn't move. On these ships, something in certain areas, they can move. So what we would do is, of course, you have the stateroom that they can ask you to stay. If you don't want to be alone, then we have the show lounge, we have Studio B, which has chairs that are nailed to the floor. So it is to protect you from any moving part on board on the ship. And then when the lower decks and so on, because the portholes there as well, we have some iron locks that we put in front of them, and then we go through it, and you go a little bit slower than you do normally. Yeah. This ship, when it came over from the yard, it was 30 feet waves. So they did good. They fed some of the crabs, but yeah. Very seldom. But I must say, I've been on ships for a long time. These ships are just amazing, even when you have higher seas.
Good afternoon. This question might be a little morbid, but my husband and I cruise a lot, and we've been on ships where people have had babies, and some staff have been hurt and airlifted. We've also been on ships where there've been someone's passed away. Where do you put the body?
So on this ship we have 6 mortgages. So you follow the same procedures as you have. Shoreside, our doctors are from shoreside, they follow the same procedures. Then we have mortgages that we can have them in, and then the people will come and take them and then we get to port.
Do you keep them there till you get back to, like, in this case,
Yes.
Port Canaveral?
Yes, we will work with the family, what they prefer. Most of the time they would like to do that, because if you land somebody in other country, it can be long delays before they get back. So the best thing is to keep them on board, and then we follow the proper procedures when we get into port. Very seldom it happens. Yes, we have a helicopter deck, and we can send people ashore with helicopters, but they are a little bit. We have a fantastic medical facility with 3 doctors, 5 nurses, 1 medical secretary. They have great equipment. And they also have contact shoreside with just specialists in certain areas. And they talk together to do the best they can for the patient. One thing they are reluctant to do the patient in a helicopter, when you take them in the helicopter, is a lot of shaking. Yeah. And also there's very limited you can do to keep the patient stable. So most of the time they prefer us keeping a patient on board, and then still keep them stable and proceed faster to the next port. Sometimes that can affect the itinerary, but I'm in charge of the safety, and if it's 1 person or more, it doesn't matter. You do whatever you can for that person or those individuals. Yes.
Center left, Captain.
I'm wondering, when was the last time the Oasis left somebody at port because they didn't make it back to the ship after?
Last week. I don't remember. But it happens. I'm not famous for being patient. I'm Norwegian and we like to be on time. Yeah. No, I'm gonna say, if somebody's late on board, you're on vacation. For all I know, you could be sitting at the pub, met somebody, want to stay there, marry them, and live happily ever after. That was just one example. It could be others reasons. But if people are late, first of all, that's changed the whole thing. If we're going to stay waiting maybe an hour or 2 hours, it's going to cost me a lot in fuel. And we can't open the venues for the guests on board, so we can't run the program that we would like to run for the rest of the 6,000 to 400 guests that we have on board. So we leave the port. But that doesn't mean that we forget about the guest that was left behind. Each port, we have an agent. They will stay behind for an hour or so, waiting and see if the guests come. We will check the hospital, we will check the airport. We will check until we find that guest and we physically know that everything is fine with the guest. If they need assistance to get to the next port, going home, whatever, then we will do so. They have to pay us back though, because that's, yeah. So that's how it works. So it's not like, I had one time some way back, it was Ocho Rios when we went there, and I'm leaving the port, this beautiful young blonde girl come running down, waving down the dock, and I'm just leaving. And there were some guys that was really annoyed with me. And I thought that maybe they were going to hit me or something. But actually that was a person from our office. Yeah. So she knew exactly what she should be on time.
Center left, Captain.
Captain, I'm in the maintenance field, so I understand when we go into port, general maintenance fixes will happen, but what is the rotation when an actual inspection of the ship will be done?
It's 24/7.
Okay, so
It's
very often.
the engine, they go on hours. Some others is done on intervals of say the lifeboat wires is once a year, and so on. So it all goes on interval, and
so
we
the
have
ship's never on a rotation?
No, we continue doing it. Then every 5 years we need to go into dry dock, because then we need to check under the hull. We need to check that all the valves are closing properly, then everything is correctly on that side, so the water stay outside, at least the water that should stay outside. Yeah. So that's happening every 5th year. And normally these days, we used to do, I done dry dock, that was 3 days, Majesty of the Seas, went out of service on Friday, back in service on Monday, and we had painted the hull and everything. But normally these days we do much longer, and we do also revitalization inside the ship, where we're spending some 50, 150, $200 million in 2-3 weeks. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button and don't forget the bell icon so you can be notified when I post a new video.